live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Late Night News. Look, she's back, everybody.
Hey, but you know what? Last month was great. I watched after the fact and just wonderful job. Y'all did
Yeah,
great.
Vanessa was really great. It's it's nice to know that she's there. And one of these times, we're going to surprise everybody and have the two of you do the news without me. So
I like that
I'm
idea. That'd be cool.
that'll be a really
We'll do a
fun
good
show.
job.
Yeah,
We'll make you proud, Joe. We'll make you
and
proud.
then next month we're all going to be together, so that's going to be awesome. We'll talk about that a little bit later down the road. But for now, we do have a pretty packed show tonight, and I'm Joe Compton, and
Katie
this
Salidas,
is
as always. Well, not always. Not always.
not always now, but that's all right. But you're here tonight, and that's all that matters. So we're going to start with some somber news and a little bit of a tribute tonight. A friend of ours, a member of our indie community, and a very, very awesome person. I've known Lily for a very long time, but Lily Chazy's mother, Annie Smith, passed away earlier this week. And Annie, I'm going to talk a little bit about Annie tonight, and then on Sunday, I'm going to tell you a personal story of mine that of an interaction that I had with Annie. So you'll want to tune in on Sunday morning for that show. For This Week in Indies. But tonight I'm going to talk specifically about Annie herself and, why she was so important to this community. First and foremost, I mean, she gave us Lily, and that's beyond everything else. That's the most important thing because, and she was instrumental from the very get-go of making sure that Lily made it in this business, and she was behind her. She was her PR person, her support system, her editor, and she from day one put Lily in a position to succeed, and that's super amazing. She was always supportive of Lily in that respect, and she got her to transition into being an author at a very young age, and that comes from Annie's background. If you don't know about Annie was a PR person for a lot of hard rock heavy metal bands in the early 80s. She was, if you've ever seen the movie Almost Famous, she was kind of a sort of Penny Lane in that respect. But she was so much more than that because she was doing newsletters before we were even, learning cursive. So for most of us, some of us weren't even born when she was doing that. But she was doing newsletters for Aerosmith. She was there. She was literally doing like handheld Aerosmith flyers. Are you frozen, Katie? Okay. But she was amazing, and they formed Partners in Crime and book services, and they've been doing cover design, editing, full scale editing, a ton of services that they offer, and it's just so impressive. She was such an amazing part of this community from the get-go, and like I said, it's a real tough loss, and my heart is out to Lily tonight, and has been for this week. And just to let everybody know a couple things about that, there's an auction going on right now on Facebook. I have the link in the description. You can bid on some items. All of that goes to Lily and getting, helping her with the funds to the funeral costs and everything to get her on her feet and going. And there's a GoFundMe that we talked about a couple weeks ago on This Week in Indies. It's still up. You can still donate there. I've got that link in there as well. And also earlier today, a publishing company, let me make sure I get the name right here. A publishing company called Fractured Mind Publishing is doing an anthology, and all the proceeds will go to Lily and her family and helping with costs. So, and there's more information about that. You can go into the link in the description. But for now, we're going to just sit in silence for a second and honor Miss Annie Smith. All right. Now we've got a really great show for you tonight. There's a lot of stuff we're going to talk about. Katie's got some really cool stories that she's going to talk about tonight. And but we're going to start with an exclusive. We have an exclusive clip for you all tonight. An interview that I did, and it's with Mickey Mickelson of Creative Edge Publicity and Amy. I'm not even going to try to pronounce her last name. Sorry, Amy, from Abundantly Social, and the two of them have a huge announcement that they're making right here on our show right now, and it's really going to be amazing. We'll talk about it on the other side, but here is that interview, and then we'll be back with more news.
I'm Amy Ravichandran. I am the owner of Abundantly Social. So I do book marketing and social media marketing for authors. I've been doing that for about 10 years.
And I'm Mickey Mickelson, publicist extraordinaire and owner of Creative Edge Publicity. We've been in business for, just over 6 years now. We have over 100 authors, 3 New York Times bestsellers, 6 USA Today bestsellers, well over 4 publishers represented. Before I drop the big news, I just want to say that I'm really privileged to have Amy on this journey with me. The last 6 months, she's been my rock. Now, we're not formally joining forces overall as a team and a company, but logistically, we've been working together for 6 months, and I can't imagine a better partner with the news I'm about to drop than her with this. She's phenomenal. She has incredible depth, incredible professionalism, and I'm just a really, really lucky individual to have met her this year. I just want to say that before I drop the big news as I build Amy's head up.
We have some exclusive big news that we're breaking here on our show tonight. Tell everybody what you have me here for.
So, ta-da, magic wand time. Creative Edge and Abundantly Social are pleased to announce that we have acquired Top Shelf magazine. Top Shelf overall has been a mainstay in the book industry for the last, I don't remember how long they've been going. It's been at least 5 years that I've been working with them. And they've had a lot of big name cover stories. John Land, Steve Barry, Brad Metzler, Tosca Lee, Robert J. Sawyer. They focus on libraries, they focus on publishers, they focus on promotion. And I don't know how Amy feels, but we are super lucky to be able to have this opportunity. That's my belief.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, Amy, how do you feel?
I will be totally honest and candid. That's just how I roll. But when Mickey approached me, with the proposal of, wanting to work with me on it, I was really just honored and humbled by it. And even with Mickey saying all those nice things, Mickey, you're going to make me cry. And I'm not a sensitive person by any means, but I think it's just, I've loved working with Mickey, and it's definitely a different avenue to go down. And I think me and him together collaborating on it could really kind of take it to the next level and keep it with the legacy that it has. And I think that's both important to me and Mickey.
So when is this all taking place, Mickey? Are you the next issue, or are you a couple issues down the road? When are you officially going to be putting out the first Creative Edge Abundantly Social version of Top Shelf?
Well, we have to, me and Amy have to talk about that. I don't know when the first issue is going to happen. I'm hoping next month, but again, that's going to depend on us. Mm-hmm. The first issue is going to be incorporating the Top Shelf Awards, because that's the mandate from that. Mm-hmm. But can I say a little bit as well about the direction, Joe, or no?
Sure, please. Yes, absolutely.
So when me and Amy discussed this, we recognize that there's a lot of magazines out there around the book world.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of magazines that are not succeeding around the book world as well. And we're very, very, very diligent, and we're very, very aware of that.
Mhm.
So, and Amy, please speak up if you want to as well. But our mandate basically is we want Top Shelf to be the book community magazine. It's not going to be an abundantly social magazine. It's not going to be a creative edge magazine. Now, am I going to have some of my clients showcased?
Of course.
Of course I am. But it's not going to be just about that.
Right.
We wanted to showcase this book community, and by doing that, all the community. So we want to showcase bookstores. We want to showcase book-related media like yourself and podcasts and things like that. And we want to showcase a combination of indies and traditionals and bring it all together into one place. It's not only going to attract the Penguin distributors and the Hachette's of the world. We also want to be able to attract the small press publishers and the indie authors and have a reading space that's going to spread out internationally. Mm-hmm. And that's something that's not been done with Top Shelf before. And I know it's probably very, very aggressive. That's my nature, as you know, Joe.
Yeah.
But that's what essentially I think we're looking to do. Am I wrong in any of that, Amy? Because I don't think so. But
no, I think you really nailed it on the head. It's more of embracing the writer community as a whole.
And at the end of the day, and Amy may not like this comment, but she'll yell at me later for it if that's the truth. You could throw the money out the window that we might or might not make from this. Mm-hmm. You can throw out all the politics around it. We want the magazine to be the book community magazine. That's what we want it to be known for. And if we get extra benefit from that, great. But if we don't, that's okay too. That's what it's there for. It's meant to help out.
All right. So I'm going to hit you with the hard-hitting question here.
Sure.
Because this is go indie now. So what are you looking for from indie authors out there that you want to see so that you could put them in this magazine?
Here's a tough answer to this, Joe. A lot of magazines that fail, especially in the book industry, are putting people that aren't marketable within their covers. They're not sharing the magazine. They're not marketing the magazine. They're not sharing those opportunities. We want to cover indies. There's no question of that. We want it to be indie and traditional focused both. But having said that, we also want those individuals who are going to be featured inside and on the cover to have a marketable platform, to have a vibrant book cover, to have professional photo shots, to have edited answers when we send written interviews off or guest posts. And ultimately, as well, we want them to be able to share these opportunities. Because if the people presented inside the magazine don't share it, I can see it now. 2 years down the road, we're going to be dead in the water, guaranteed. Yeah. Because that's typically what happens. Yeah. So that's where our take is. I don't care what the genre is. It could be horror. It could be science fiction. It could even be erotica. But as long as they're marketable and they're sharing it, that's all we're really going to ask. End of the day. That's my answer.
Yeah. I mean, to kind of piggyback off of that a little bit, I think the key aspect, at least for me, is an indie author that takes being an author as a business stance, I think is more important, because, you know, you can have an indie author or anything that's just like, oh, I needed to write this book, it was in me, and not understand different avenues to go down with it. Mm-hmm. We kind of want someone that understands that writing a book is, you're putting a business out there. You are an authorpreneur, and someone that's going to take that seriously, I think at the end of the day, is really kind of, to sum up a lot of it, is what we're looking for, because that's how we're going to grow and how you're going to get more visibility and you're going to grow and, you know, get sales or however it trickles down from that is great. But you have to start by taking your book and marketing seriously, I think, in order to be considered, I would say, from my personal opinion.
So how do indie authors reach out to you all to get involved in this, whether it be getting some ad space, because I'm sure you'd be happy to take everybody's money. You can put some ads out there for people.
Again, it's not about that.
I know, but you'd still be happy to do it. I mean,
Of course we would, but I mean,
but so how do people get in touch with you if they want to advertise, and how do people get in touch with you if they want to be featured or part of this journey with you?
we're still in the process of tweaking the Top Shelf website. We have been given the domain along with this magazine, so we're going to get that out there. I mean, but at the end of the day, if there's a and people are seeing this, they can email me directly. I'm not going to suggest that they're going to be in the first magazine, because I honestly, and I know we're starting a little off, but the first issue is not even like crafted yet or out. We want to get the book awards that they formalized before we took it over. We want to get that said and done. Yeah. And then by the time the second and third and fourth and fifth or whatever issue goes along, we'll be in a much better place as to know what we actually have in terms of a content aspect. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how Amy feels. I truly believe that the first year is going to be a test year, and there's going to be some bumps. There is with any agenda, any initiative. Yeah. There's going to be bumps.
But so the bottom line is be patient, right?
Yeah, because I think by the time the first year is done, we'll have an idea of what we've got, and then we can just build it from there. And the second and third year will be much, much better.
All right. So Karina asked, so there will be a charge to be in the magazine. Not currently, there is not. But, to be put in it, that's going to be probably maybe a year or so down the road. Like Mickey was saying in the interview, that they're going to run through tests of what they're trying to do and what they're trying to accomplish and figure it all out. Amy has many clients, to put in there as well.
Certainly sounds like an interesting idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Top Shelf is I don't know if you've ever seen a Top Shelf mag or anything like that, but it's an interesting magazine. So I think it does have some tips. It has some features and things like that, and interviews, and so it does cover the book community pretty good. And
I guess my question would be, does he have content to fill the magazine? Because it can't just be him showcasing his authors or her authors.
Well, between him and Amy, I would,
it needs to be sober content. It needs to be stuff that's like what we do here. We seek out articles that are going to be important to the indie community. So he's going to have to do his homework and not just throw everything out there that's book related, but specifically, if he wants it to be an indie magazine, he needs to focus on the things that's going to be important to indies.
Josh says he's checked it out and they have a good reputation. And he says hello to you.
Hey, Josh. So, I mean, I don't want him to fail or anything, but I do want to make sure he's done his homework and he's actually not thinking about this as just an advertising platform that's already got a following, but as something that he can really build on to, further the community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a really good idea, a really good thought. We'll see. Again, as everything that we've been dealing with, it's wait and see.
It's always wait and see.
Yeah. I cut that out of the interview, but I made a joke of that after he said that. But yeah, because that's kind of how we've been getting all these things happening to us, and it's kind of just like, okay, well, we'll see what's going to happen from it. And so far, nothing has really come of anything, but we'll wait and see. We'll stay the course and see how it goes. That's kind
of the theme of my articles this week too. Is that here's some information, but we're gonna have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, especially the second part of it.
Yep.
Because I just read that it's not happening for a while, but yeah. We might as well jump right into those and talk about those. And I have Mickey's information in the chat if you guys want, or in the description if you want to wait and see the late night edition. Yeah. You can call it Read and Find Out edition. Yeah.
There we go. There we go.
For sure. But yeah, I have the way to contact Mickey in the description right now. So if you guys want to reach out to him, he said he's open. He'll take everybody's emails and decide from there, and we'll see how we'll look at it in about we'll look at it in 6 months and give a progress report and see how it's going.
That's a good idea.
Kind of how we were planning to do with drafted digital Smashwords, but I think we probably have to wait a year for that one.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. But anyway, all right. So Katie, why don't you jump into the next story for us?
All right. Well, let's talk about another wait and see thing. Europe's new Digital Markets Act. So simply put, this is the latest sets of do's and don'ts for companies that are operating within the digital market across the European Union. These rules attempt to limit the market power of those big online platforms, and we won't say any names, but the gatekeepers, the ones that basically keep the little guy out. So the DMA's plan is to force the biggest and most influential tech companies to let their users use other apps and services on their platforms. So, for example, somebody with an Apple who has to do everything through Apple's App Store, they need to be able to go somewhere else and get apps that are compatible with their device. That's what they're kind of trying to do in a nutshell. They're trying to make the playing field a little bit more level. While doing that, what they're also going to do is limit the ability for each of these companies to pull all of your data across the platforms, because if they force you onto their platform only, they have all of your data. And if we're having to spread the wealth around and go to different places to get what we need, they also need to put a halt to all of that data stealing that goes on, all those cookies that are tracking us. So this is essentially what the Digital Markets Act for Europe is trying to do at this point. And again, on that whole wait and see theme, we don't know what's going to happen. So for years, the growth of smaller companies, all those little guys, has been stunted by how easy it is for the larger companies to combine, to cross-utilize their user data, to sell their products above other products, that kind of thing. And this is what the DMA is trying to avoid doing. Tech companies will not be able to share data between services without expressed consumer consent. Now, just like with the GDPR, what did that do for us? That ended up with lots of pop-ups now that we have to approve every time we go to a website. So that could be another thing we're going to see. We could see a lot more opt-ins because everything, even if you break it down, Meta is Facebook, but they also own WhatsApp. They also own Instagram, but those would be treated as 3 separate entities, and each one might have you opting in for stuff. So we don't know how it's going to actually play out. It's a good idea on paper. In theory, yes, we want them to stop sharing the data. We want them to stop stealing our data. We want to be able to level the playing field so that everybody has a chance to operate and to create software and things that are usable across different platforms. But again, we don't know. We have to play the wait and see game. So what's going on with this? And the reason that I want to preface this before we go into the next article is because Amazon has historically, since the beginning, enjoyed proprietary treatment with its MOBI and its AZW format, whereas every other platform out there has used EPUB. Amazon, about a year ago, if you guys remember, I believe it was about June or July of last year, we mentioned that Amazon was now accepting EPUB as an upload format. Now Amazon is moving towards EPUB as its native format. Interesting. As this European Digital Markets Act is coming out, Amazon has finally decided, oh, well, we don't need to be proprietary anymore, guys. We're going to go ahead and start accepting EPUBs. Not only do they accept EPUBs, but now it's becoming a native format. It isn't officially native yet on the Kindle devices, but they have been updating all their help files to suggest using EPUBs to show how to download EPUBs to your device, how to use Send to Kindle in order to get your EPUBs to your device. So it's becoming native. That brings a question up that we really have to look at. Is this Digital Markets Act, which is essentially trying to stop the big companies from getting too much power, is it actually going to do that, or is it going to empower somebody like Amazon further? Because let's say EPUB is the universal format for ebooks. You can get your ebooks anywhere. But if you're used to buying them off of Amazon, if you're used to buying everything off of Amazon, isn't it going to be that much easier for you to just go, oh, they got the EPUB, click, buy. And that may steal from other companies. So we'll see what happens. Again, wait and see.
Well, first, it's ever a wonder why the little opt-out button that they made us all put on our websites was so effective, right? That worked so well for the European Union, didn't it? I mean, it's like, all right, great. Now they're pop-ups like you were saying before, and it's like
everywhere, and it's so annoying. And
it's,
I get it. On paper, it's a brilliant
they're
plan.
trying to protect their citizens. That's what they're trying to do. That's the idea behind it, but it's not working that way. It's working the reverse.
And that's why I think, because of, and I know I merged the two stories together about this, but I see the link between them and I see what's happening. And, Amazon is 80% of the ebook market. And now they have the universal form. They've adopted the universal ebook form. So what's stopping you from getting your book on Amazon or Kobo or Barnes & Noble? If you're defaulting to Amazon for 90% of your stuff anyways, it's a simple one click. You no longer have to have another service.
Rebecca says something interesting here, and I think I was thinking along the same lines. And it's switching formats explains why they went and broke their website again. And I think it has something to do with that. I think that EPUBs may be storage-wise a lot easier to store or push away from
smaller
their main
files.
service.
Way smaller files than a Mobi file.
Right. And I think that's the problem, is they were running out of storage, and that's why they really made the change. Now they look at it and go, can we make money off of this on top of that?
No, I think that's why they did it. They have more storage space than God.
Mm-hmm.
I think they go, okay, if we have to start having this interoperability because of the DMA, all right, fine, we'll take EPUBs. Mm-hmm. And now everyone's going to come to us anyways, because you don't have anything better than what we've got. Yeah. They're evil. They're so evil.
And we've got more evil to come. Today, Friday the 13th is really be apropos for us today, because we've got a lot more to talk about. And actually, what's funny is CL Cannon's marketing tip kind of piggybacks on this a little bit.
We're all on the same wavelength.
Yeah, we're in the same space right now. But Josh, I wanted to throw some comments up here real quick. Josh says trying to create a hardware equivalent with digital. It's never worked with video games. Curious how the cookie crumbles. And then Anita says all the big tech companies want to sell your soul to the company story. And yes, she does have. It's not Yoda, right? It's
Grogu. He's holding the "I need coffee" sign.
Yeah, and politics, and of course politics. I did say money got involved. Yeah.
Don't even get us started on the politics of this week.
Yeah. Amazon is going to win on this and then stop selling ebooks completely, because that's how they roll. That wouldn't surprise me either, to be honest. I mean, they want to be in bed with the big four, and that's the big four's big mission, is to kind of destroy that. But,
well, and Google, I know we didn't post it on our story list this week, but Google is leaning heavy into AI narration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read an article about somebody trying it. Like, I forgot who it was. It was some famous person who tried it, and they were very impressed by it. And I'm like,
it's getting good. Like, it's getting real good.
But how expensive is that going to be? That
cheaper than a narrator.
Is it?
Yes, and that's why they're able to push it, because let's say you go with an audio narrator, you're paying $200 to $300 per finished hour.
Yeah.
Of your book. And for good reason. They really do a lot of work, and just read your book for 5 minutes out loud and see how much you screw up. It takes them a lot of time to do. So it's worth the money that you pay, and they're an artist, they deserve to be paid. But if narration comes in at half, they're still cheaper.
Josh said he has to take off, but he said thanks for the wait and see episode. Yeah. So yeah, let's bring CL Cannon in here, and then we'll talk about more evil empires on the other side of this break. And everybody, I'm telling you right now, okay, this is 10 minutes of gold what CL Can is about to present to you. She always presents really great stuff. But I'm telling you, I wrote some notes down when I was watching this the other day, and I'm telling you, you're gonna pick up something from this tonight. I think everybody will pick up a little something from this because
I'm ready.
There's a couple nuggets in here that I didn't know, and I was real impressed by this. So, everybody, here is CL Cannon with her monthly marketing tip.
Hey guys, CL Cannon here from Fiction Atlas Press, bringing you another monthly marketing tip. And this month, I want to do some do's and don'ts of search visibility. So I've got a few do's and only a couple of don'ts, but the don'ts are pretty important. For our first do, we have research your categories to find the most relevant and niche options. So what this means is that, let's say that you have a vampire book. You are going to have 3 categories that you can put your book into. So you're going to want to get the most drilled down category that you can have. You don't want to put it in just fiction. You don't want to put it just in paranormal. You want to go all the way down to a category specifically about vampires. And let's say if it's a vampire romance, you can get even more specific with it. You want to make as many steps down on the category ladder as you can get so you have the least amount of people in your category as possible, because this increases your visibility. Another part of this is you don't want to just be in those 3 categories. Did you know, and you should because I've already done a video on this, that you can add 7 more categories? And the way to do this is to go to your KDP dashboard or through Author Central, and you can go to the help section and you can email them with the categories that you want to be placed into. I actually have a huge spreadsheet that has all of the available fiction categories. I will give that to Joe. That might help some of you find some really relevant categories. The next thing that I have for you is optimizing your blurb with keywords that are relevant to your genre. And this does not mean Frankenstein some words into your blurb and make it a whole mishmash of keywords. We don't want that. We don't want those in your story title or description or any of that stuff. You can put words organically into your blurb that are keywords for your genre, and they will help you rank higher in the searching. You can also put your keywords in your KDP dashboard. Pretty sure you get 8 keywords that you can use, and that also helps determine where you're going to be in searches. There's a bunch of tools that you can use to find relevant and really best-selling keywords. I know Publisher Rocket is one such program that helps with this. There's a lot of different resources out there. It really depends on your budget, how much time you have, and things like that. So now let's talk about our final do, which is all about your book cover. Your book cover image needs to be uploaded in high quality, and it needs to be the correct size. I've actually seen people try to upload their paperback, like their whole full paperback wrap, as a ebook cover, and make sure it's the right correct size. You can find those guidelines anywhere. You can Google it. KDP has it in their help section. Wherever you're going to be uploading, they have somewhere in their help section exactly the dimensions and things that they need for your book cover. But you also want to make sure that it's not a blurry, grainy mess. It's not this big. One thing that I like to do that is really helpful is if you have a PNG or if you have a JPG, you can go to tinypng.com, plug in your file, and it will take that high quality, awesome, large file and make the file size this small. And it doesn't sacrifice any of your image quality, and it looks perfect. It makes it for a really crisp cover to upload to any platform, and it usually meets the size requirements that a lot of them have. A lot of them have like 2 MB or something like that. So when you're designing your book cover, you want to make sure that you can see in a thumbnail size author name, and more importantly, your title. And you also especially want to work with a designer who knows your genre. Your reader need to be able to glance at it and say, oh, this is a vampire story. This is paranormal. Whatever genre, they need to be able to look at it like that and figure out what it is. Because again, people are looking at your book usually on a phone, a Kindle, or even on a computer screen. It's still not very big. It's this big. They need to be able to just glance at it and know what it's about, because an average person decides whether they want to buy your book in 7 seconds. So you need to impress them in those 7 seconds and let them know exactly what they're getting. Okay, the first don't is do not use dirty links to promote your book anywhere. And I know you're thinking, Courtney, what is a dirty link? What are you talking about? How can a link be dirty? Okay, so when we're talking about dirty links in marketing, a dirty link is any link that is not in its purest form. Dirty links have what we call tracking information at the end. That has metadata in it. It tells when the book was searched for. So if you would go onto Amazon and search for your book by your title and your author name, that link that you get will actually have when you search for it, how you search for it, what keywords you use, and all of that. It has a timestamp in it. And that tells Amazon or other retailers, when you search for this. So if you're using that link as something to promote your book and a year later someone clicks on it, they're going to be scratching their heads, Amazon is, and they're going to be wondering how someone got a link from a search somebody made a year ago and it wasn't you. So they actually treat this as search manipulation. And that's something that you don't want Amazon or any other retailer to think you have participated in. Because if they think that you have participated in search manipulation, there's a few things that can happen. The probably most lenient thing that can happen is that they can strip your sales ranking. And that means you go to 0 visibility. Your ranking is gone. You're not even on the charts. The only people that can see your book are the people you directly say, hey, here's my book. And it just tanks you. It pretty much kills your sales. It is a death sentence. And the next thing is even more devastating. They can also close your account. And not only close your account, it closes forever. You can never use that platform again. If you are, especially if it's on Amazon, who really takes this seriously, your Amazon account is gone and you can never make another one. 90% of most authors' sales come from Amazon, so all of that revenue is gone. And speaking of revenue, if you made royalties, they can hold those royalties and never pay them to you. So it's very, very serious. I'm going to show you exactly how you can make your link clean. I also want to mention that you can, once you clean your link, that's the link that you need to be using, but that's also what you need to be putting into any link shorteners like Books to Read or Bitly. Because if you feed them a dirty link, they're still redirecting you to a dirty link no matter what your Books to Read link looks like. So what you're going to want to do, I'm going to have an example here pop up on the screen. I'm going to search for Wicked Wishes, and I am going to put my author name in there. Now, if you'll look at the end of the URL, you will see all of these little letters and numbers and all of this jumble, but it actually is data to Amazon. So we don't want all of this. Everything after REF is junk. It needs to be taken away. Now you can also go right before it says DP, which you do need, where it says like the name of your book. You can take that out as well, but to get to the purest form, you can just erase all that until you just have amazon.com/DP, and then it'll have your AISN number. That is the purest form of your link and the one that you want to be using. And the last thing is something I saw an author actually do the other day, and it's something you definitely don't want to do. I know she probably didn't know any better, especially newer authors probably do not realize this, but you should never, ever, ever post a video, make a post on social media, or even send an email to anyone. You should never ask readers to go to Amazon or any other retailer and search for your book via your title, your author name, or any of your keywords. This, again, is search manipulation. You don't want to do that. You don't want to lose 90% of your revenue over something as simple as that when you can have all these organic ways to increase your visibility. And I know it sounds like, oh, they're just searching. It's not hurting anything, but that's not the way that Amazon or other retailers see it. So you need to abide by their terms of service if you want to make money on their platform. Okay, that's all I have for you today. I hope I have helped you learn a little bit about search visibility, do's and don'ts. As always, if you have any questions for me about today's video, past videos, or any marketing or publishing questions at all, hey, if you even want to do something like talk to me about Marvel, that's fine. You can message me on Facebook, or you can email me at info@fiction-atlas.com. And I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can and try to help you out. That is all for me this month. I hope you guys have a lovely rest of the month, and I will see you next time. Bye.
All right. That was, I didn't know the thing about the Bitly thing. That was the one thing that I was like, whoa. I'm wondering how many dirty links I've copied.
You might want to get yourself
all excited, but
you're gonna have to get yourself checked now.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, I thought there was a lot of great information in there, and maybe everybody else knew everything that she was saying, but I found there was a lot of good nuggets in there. So.
She never fails to provide just the best information, the most up-to-date information. I love it. I love it.
I always give you clean links, Joe. All right. Thanks, Rebecca. I appreciate that. But anyway, so yeah, now on. So I think we've beat up Amazon pretty good today. They deserve it, no doubt.
They can take a licking, man. They don't even feel it. Like, what was that?
It's a bee sting to them. Yeah.
Not even. The fly gently brushed against their cheek.
Yeah, JD says, I have another indie author friend who gave me such a whooping for posting dirty links. So another evil empire that's brewing, a little bit smaller in scale, but becoming bigger in scale. And this is the whole reason why there was some animosity going on, is our friends over at Etsy. And if you didn't hear, there was a strike that a few thousand of Etsy shops that went dark during the week of April 11th through the 18th to protest fee hikes the retail site imposed on their sellers, not on their buyers, on their sellers. And their fee increased from 5% to 6.5%. And Etsy explained in an interview, their CEO in an interview with the Wall Street Journal said the business model of Etsy is to create a brand called Etsy. That means something to buyers, that establish trust with our buyers and then lends that brand to our sellers. Each of our sellers is a blade of grass in a tornado. There's someone you haven't heard of. Boy, is that vague as all get out. Not even answering any of the questions that he was probably posed. Basically, they saw an unprecedented growth amid the pandemic as people took to the marketplace to sell everything from handcrafted jewelry to bread. And it grew from a marketplace of 2 million to 7.5 million in less than 2 years. Brand marketing is actually the main reason why Etsy increased its transactional fees. They spent over $500 million advertising last year and plan to increase that spending over the course of this year. And that is what they're going to use that increase for. So that is what they're saying. The demands of the strike holders were to cancel the fee increase, crack down on resellers with comprehensive plan that is transparent so sellers can hold Etsy accountable, give golden support tickets to sellers affected by extreme AI actions, i.e. account termination, 45, 90-day holds, etc., end the star seller program, and give all sellers the ability to opt out of an offsite ad. The leaders of the protest, they also were quoted in this article, and they say that people see us as hobbyists or crafters or just people doing something on the side. They don't see what's happening here as exploitation. That was from Maddie Boyd, who was one of the leaders of the organizing of the strike, and a non-binary Etsy vendor who said they earn a full-time income on the site from selling punk-inspired T-shirts and accessories geared toward queer and trans communities. A 2001 Etsy report notes that the site has more than 5.3 million active sellers. 32% of those rely on Etsy for their sole income. According to that report, 79% of the site's U.S. sellers are women, and 14% of the Etsy sellers identify as LGBTQIA+, double the proportion of LGBTQIA people in the United States population. Most Etsy sellers are using the platform in addition to other channels, and they stick with Etsy. So there is a contingency that is with Etsy on this. And they say that because the platform delivers sales, according to them, they predict that there will be fewer e-commerce channels in 5 to 10 years. And they want to make investments now and make sure that Etsy is one of those. So some sellers welcome the fee increase and encourage their peers to look for ways to cut costs rather than protest Etsy. If this fee increase is making you nervous, your prices are not correct, says one of the sellers that told NPR this. And so the main person, Cassidy, she said that she didn't expect the strike to take off like it did. But after connecting with other sellers through the strike and realizing they shared many similar concerns, she and other Etsy sellers began to consider whether or not they should form a union. So what is happening now? That is what's next on the agenda. She says, the crazy thing is I didn't realize just how many people there were out there that agreed with me. It's been this huge eye-opening experience just to see how much all other people that are on this platform are trying to make a living with me agree, and how much my customers support me. Etsy sellers aren't employees of the company, but they're hoping that by joining together, they can better advocate for changes on the online marketplace. A number of Etsy sellers have joined a Discord server where they intend to map out organizing plans. So while they didn't, so they say, honestly, they think it's a smart idea because people just want to be heard and acknowledged. Representatives from Etsy didn't respond to any of these comments. And I have a quote actually from the CEO or spokesperson of Etsy. They say, our sellers' success is top priority for Etsy. We are always receptive to seller feedback. And in fact, the new fee structure will enable us to increase our investments in areas outlined. And this is a show. You can see how Etsy has grown and how they've kind of navigated this small increase over time. So it's not something that's new to this platform. So there you go. I mean, whoo.
That Anita mentioned something in the comments. There's also increases to shipping fees too. So it's not just the seller fees that these guys are getting hit with. They're also getting hit with shipping fees. And, you just keep tacking more and more on top. It's not a see how much you can cut costs to make a living off your sales. All Etsy sellers are now forced to increase their costs. And in an economy that's going down, nobody's winning. Well, except the corporation, because they get their fees on everything. And the way Etsy looks at the sellers are their customers, and they can price gouge their customers as much as they want.
Yeah. It's just unfortunate that they can't find another compromise or a way to, kind of gradually bring this in. And, I mean, I get it, but if you're making hand over fist to begin with,
Yeah, and all of these companies, not to get too into the weeds here, but all the companies that have raised their rates are also posting increased profits on top of it. They're not in any hardships, but they're putting the hardships on us.
And who benefits from this, right? Is TikTok. TikTok is going to benefit from this. And because everybody's, finding ways to post sans Etsy, which is kind of what Anita says here, I know one Etsy seller to discontinue the product because shipping increased $20 for that product. And yeah, it's, Etsy sellers are getting hard. Yeah, we already did that one. And I love this comment. Well, it takes Uber's exploitation to another level.
Oh, every company's doing it. Every single company is just, it's the corporate greed is just driving me crazy. I've lost almost all faith in humanity this year.
Yeah, it's tough. It's really tough because, I didn't realize how perfect this show would be for Friday the 13th, but but yeah, it is tough, and you feel for these folks, but I don't know. Is it the cost of doing business?
If it
I mean,
hasn't affected you yet, it will.
yeah,
Ingram increased their rates, forcing us to increase book prices. It's not just one company or another. Slowly, all of the companies that we as independents deal with, whether it's Etsy for our merchandise, whether it's um, Ingram Spark for our books, whether it's, every part of the process of being an indie is becoming more expensive because of these other tier companies that we deal with in order to do our business. So if it hasn't hit you yet, it's going to.
So, but as we pointed out in the article, there are some people who are not opposed to this, and that's kind of interesting to me as well. And those, I need to incorporate so I can lose my humanity and make money. Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, sell your soul. Right.
What did we say? We said Google is going hard onto the AI narration, so they're going to put real narrators out of business.
Well, we had that story a couple months ago about how Google was forcing everybody to change their ways for them. Remember that? And yeah. So it's just like it never stops, and which is good for us because we'll always have a show.
Until YouTube starts.
Right.
Charging us for posting stuff. I mean, I'm joking now, but how serious is it?
Yeah.
At what point are they going to start charging for little shows like us who don't earn monetization?
Yeah. And then make it more impossible to get to the monetization level as you go forward.
Yeah,
that seems to be always the way, right? So
faith in humanity all time low.
Well, faith in corporate humanity. Let's put it that way. I mean,
it's run by people, greedy people.
That's why Rebecca's drinking, and the companies are pushing indies more and more to direct sales. I'm seeing so many authors. Yeah, I think that I was just going to mention that. I think that is the platform. I think that's the platform we've always discussed about with GoIndie now, is to take it to a direct site on its own and move it, because that's what successful organizations do. And ultimately, I mean, you kind of put your toes in these waters because you have to, but you swim somewhere else. You know what I mean? So
how many indies have gone Patreon or Coffee or the other sites, because we don't have anywhere else to go to earn a living, because we're nickel and dime for everything and still trying to make reasonable sales. And most indies, we price our books as reasonably as we can afford to.
Yeah.
We're not making a whole heck of a lot.
And that's something we talked about on This Week in Indies last Sunday, was the idea of, these sites that are now merging again. We had another merger. We're not covering that because it's crazy, but there's these ebook promotion sites that have merged together now to kind of gouge you at the 99-cent level and force indies to give the book away for free at 99 cents. And we're not getting what we're worth, And Karina says, but you have to be careful where the money is going. And by the way, for those who can't use it, USPS is a great shipping option, so you can schedule material drops and shipment pickups.
Don't forget media mail. It may take longer to get there, but it is much cheaper.
And they don't sponsor us yet, but stamps.com is another great option. And you can do it right from your house, and you don't have to go to the fucking post office, because that's always fun. Right?
I think there's a good thing for CL Cannon to jump on next month.
Right. Stamps.com. shows how she does her mailers, because I'm sure she does out a shitload.
Did you see the stuff behind her? She had all the mailers and everything.
So I wanted to before we head out and talk about what's next for us, both of us. I wanted to mention that next month. I kind of already teased it a little bit at the beginning of the show, but at the end, I want to talk about it. Next month, you're going to see all three of us here next month. Myself, Katie, and Vanessa, and we're going to be doing an AMA as we do, as customary that we've done as our seasons or mid seasons have ended. Our last show for the summer is next month, and then we're going to take a little break. And I'm actually going to go see Katie in July, because
we should tell them about Comic-Con.
Yeah. We'll talk about that in a second. But I just wanted to mention the AMA, and so all of you, please come by, send us some questions, ask us some questions. We're going to take all your questions, and we're going to go. I decided to forego going over the survey tonight because I thought it was too fast, and maybe we'll get some more responses. Let it simmer a little bit and marinate, and have more people respond, and then we'll go over the survey results during the AMA as well. So I think it's going to be a really great show, a lot of fun, and like I said, the Katie and Vanessa show is coming soon, everybody. So
I'm so excited.
Maybe we'll do that as the season premiere. I'll talk to them about that. But anyway, that's on the horizon for us, and that'll be the second Friday of the month in June. I believe that is June 10th. I think it is. Yes, I was right for once. All right, June 10th. How about that? I pulled something out of my ass and it worked. All right. Thank you. I feel accomplished now. I can go to sleep happy. But Katie Salidas and Miss J.E. Taylor tomorrow night, everybody, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, for Spilling Ink. And it's going to be a great show.
It's going to be a fun show.
It's going to be a great show.
It'll be a fun show. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys.
Yeah.
We've got some very interesting guests coming on. So I want you guys to be there tomorrow night at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And definitely come. It'll be fun.
Yeah. And then on Sunday, noon Eastern, as we always do, 9 a.m. Pacific, and all the other time zones. I've been told to not even do the British one anymore because apparently nobody goes by that time zone. Everybody has their own time zone in Europe. But I'm not going to put every time zone in there. I gotta draw the line somewhere. But that being said, we have This Week in Indies hosted by the awesome Madeline Dale, and they're going to be talking. The roundtable and them are going to be talking about. What are they going to be talking about? I win one and I lose one. So that's how this works, right? I don't even remember. They're going to be talking about something really cool. So everybody just enjoy that. And yeah, it's going to be great. Do Eastern and GMT only. Okay. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. It sounded more like the battery hadn't. Yeah. Anyway, so that being said, another great show. Thank you all for being here, and sorry to bring all the bad news your way, but hey, look, it is what it is. So we'll wait and see how it turns out. How about that, huh?
There we go. Wait and see.
All right, Katie, you want to take us out of here?
All right. Love you guys. It's always time to go indie now.